This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, and it looks like the chaos of 2016 isn't over yet, folks. We're just less than a month away from New Year, and December 19th, yesterday, proved to be one of the most violent and troubling days we've seen this year. At a Zurich Islamic center, a gunman opened fire and he wounded 3 people before apparently committing suicide. Now, this gunman was a 24-year-old Swiss citizen of Ghanaian descent, and he was already wanted for a fatal stabbing of a friend of his. Now, the Swiss authorities are not calling this an act of terror. They're saying we have no evidence of a connection to terrorism. And the 3 men who were wounded in this attack are in stable condition, but 2 of them were very seriously hurt. A Russian ambassador, however, was not so lucky. Andrei Karlov was just shot by Mevlut Mert Altinez 9 times as he gave a speech. Now, apparently, this assassination was a part of a protest against Russia's involvement in Aleppo. And there's now fear that this is going to put strains on an already shaky relationship between Turkey and Russia. Some of you may recall around this time last year, as we reported in this video here on PFT Live, how Turkey shot down a Russian fighter jet that entered into its airspace. Now, fortunately, right now, almost right away, Russia and Turkey agreed that this assassination was an act of provocation, with Vladimir Putin saying that this was undoubtedly aimed at disrupting the normalization of Russia-Turkey relations and the peace process in Syria. And Russian investigators arrived in Turkey today to try to help find out who was behind the murder of Karlov. A senior Turkish official told the Associated Press that the assassination was fully professional, not just a one-man action. So that implies there's a larger conspiracy here. The police have already arrested 6 people involved in this murder. And another terrorist attack in Europe, this time in Berlin, when a truck rammed into a Christmas market, killing 12 people and injuring 45. And the German authorities are still looking for the perpetrator after admitting that there was not enough evidence to hold this guy. He was a 23-year-old Pakistani asylum seeker who they suspected was involved, but then they let him go after holding him for a little while. And Chancellor Angela Merkel, whose open border policies are just destroying Germany, tried to completely downplay this terrorist refugee connection, saying, "I know it would be especially hard for us all to bear it if it were confirmed that the person who committed this act was someone who sought protection and asylum," she said. And this attack comes just months before a federal election where Merkel is seeking a 4th term. And the opposition obviously is calling for stricter controls right now on immigration. But here's the thing, guys. As the West burns, Russia and Iran and Turkey just met without the U.S. to talk about peace talks concerning Syria. Their hope is to expand the ceasefire in Aleppo to other parts in Syria by brokering peace talks between Assad, his regime, and these rebels. So this meeting does offer a glimpse of hope into this war that the U.S. started back in 2011 with the Arab Springs and the funding of these rebel groups, which eventually evolved into ISIS. And since then, Iran and Russia have been backing Assad as the lesser evil, while Turkey has been backing ISIS. And as we've shown over and over again, Turkey, despite being a member of NATO, is a proxy of ISIS. And despite NATO's official anti-ISIS stance, Turkey permits a black market in oil sales that just helps to keep ISIS funded and keep them armed. And the U.S., of course, has been fighting and funding both sides of this conflict. So they were not at this meeting, but a State Department spokesman said that the U.S. welcomed any solutions that led to a reduction in bloodshed, whether or not we are at the table. So looking on the bright side of things here, guys, the Turkish President Erdogan recently dropped his demands that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad needs to step down from power. And Erdogan has also been silent on Russian bombings in Syria. So it remains to be seen if Russia and Turkey can actually pull off a nationwide ceasefire and more committed peace talks. But the assassination of this Russian ambassador to Turkey certainly didn't seem to hamper this discussion. So, is war brewing right now, or are these hot proxies just starting to cool off? Or are we now in the eye of the storm, so to speak? Just a calm moment before a financial crisis provokes currency wars, and then the real global wars. Well, as we move into 2017, global uncertainty seems to be returning with a vengeance. But then again, it may have never really went anywhere when you consider yesterday's events. Be sure to click the like button, guys, and share this video. We need to get the word out about how this is all playing out geopolitically. And of course, don't forget to check the links in the description to join us as a member or as a PFT patron, because we are not backed by any of the mega conglomerate mainstream prostitutes. We're the real deal, folks, and we rely on your support. So please check the links in the description and stay tuned, guys. We've got more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.